Hey Todd. So anyway, I wanted to give you a little bit of feedback because we're approaching the last couple weeks of the class. I don't usually do it for late posts, but I thought you would benefit from it. And so your caricature is starting to look really cool. Though at this point you can't really see a lot of it because of the dark background. It's hard to see dark on dark. Like you can see how the light printer and the dark work pretty good, but dark on dark is really hard to see. Another thing that's difficult is text over a background. So you may want to make some changes with that. So I'm not sure if you've had a chance to look at some of the announcements that I've posted, but if you look at this one, it says resources and info for creating legible text. It kind of goes over some of these common problems. You're not the only one who does it. I think everyone kind of starts out with that for some reason. But again, like dark on dark is hard to read, light on light is hard to read, certain colors vibrate. So red, it's never really a good idea to use red text unless there's a real reason for it. So you might want to read through this. It also goes over some of these areas which, I'm seeing with some of your caricature. Like right here, this is light on light. You just can't see light on light. You can't see dark on dark either, or text over a complicated image. So again, this kind of goes over it here too. So anyway, these are just some examples. Again, more text. So you might want to have a read through that. Even though I kind of just covered it, it's really pretty basic. It's just about contrast. That being said, I'm going to turn off this so I can look at your caricature a little bit more. Because again, see how much it stands out? It's just that the background, I would just continue searching for another background because that's probably going to be the easiest way to make it work. And since you have most all of this is dark except for this front part of the printer, so if everything's dark, go for a light background because that will really, help it a lot more. So, a lot of the stuff I brought up before. So the masks really need a lot of cleanup. It's pretty, just kind of loose. They need to be really tidy. And again, it's just a matter of time. You need to just spend the time with it. And with stuff like this, a straight edge, it's pretty easy to use something like the polygonal lasso, and then all you have to do is just click once and then just drag it down. It's not that hard to, and then you can just delete, just delete it. I mean, I'm not in your mask now, but that's what you would do. As you can see here too, this is really blurry. So there's quite a few issues with some of these, and I'm pretty sure I went over most of this before. Some of these objects just aren't high enough resolution, and how you can tell is when you zoom in, they're really grainy and pixelated. And I'll just show you someone else, one that I have open here, just a second. So note the difference with Greg. So when I zoom in on this, I'm going to turn his background again. You can see kind of the same as yours. It's a little bit hard to, so I'm going to turn that off. But when I zoom in, see how clean his masks are and see the detail. It's not blurry. So it's really important to get high quality images. And I'm pretty sure I went over some of the, in Google too. Like you can search for a background in Google Images. Even since yours is dark, a lighter, something with light, but again, you want a simple background, because the highlight of this project is the caricature, not the, not the background. So, like back in some of these, that I've showed you before, this person created this background, but it's kind of complicated, but since it's so small, it just looks like texture. It doesn't really interfere. This grayscale background. And again, let me find the computer ones. She made this background, and notice the negative space where the text fits in. Um, this text is not very good, but I'm looking for that other one just to show you. You know, a background like this, shadow and so on. And again, see how clean the images are and how bright they are. I mean, I know you've probably had a time crunch like a lot of people do, and probably the reason why, because usually when people don't miss the deadline, they have really good reasons. I'm fully aware of that. That's why I allow for resubmissions and so on. A lot of teachers don't, but I would really be happy to help you get this up to a little bit better level. So like laptop. Okay, this is pretty blurry. So if you want to find a laptop image, I know I've showed you this before. I feel like a broken record most of the time. You guys are probably so sick of hearing me. So let's say laptop. I'm in Google Images, by the way. Okay, so then if you want to find a good size resolution, one thing you can do is you can turn the tools on, right? And you can say size, and then you can say larger than, let's say 2 megapixels. So it's going to narrow it down to only the sizes that are, big. And these are really pretty big, 5,000 megapixels, 4,200 megapixels. It's easy to wipe out the screen and put whatever you want on the screen too. You don't have to use what's here, obviously. Here's a really good, well, that's kind of too small, 2,000. Another thing, you mouse over, you see the sizes, but another thing too is if you want to go to setting, oh, no, sorry, not, oops, sorry. Oh, where did it go? Oh, sorry, under here, more tools, say show sizes, and then you don't have to mouse over. You can just see the sizes. So you can really, I would go for a really high resolution one like this, 5,000 pixels. And then when you have it, I mean, for example, I'll just download this real quick. Yeah, so I put it in here and I'm going to make it, and there it is right here. Just going to decrease the size, and of course hold the shift key down and you won't have any problems with the with the proportions. They'll be constrained. So let's say we have it like this. Whoops, make it a little bit smaller. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in. So notice the difference now between the clarity of this one in the background. It's, it's a professional image. You just have to cite them. So, but notice, you can pretty much see this. It's pretty clear and sharp. And then when you look at this one, you can't even read the keys. It's really pretty blurry. So that's kind of the, a good resource to use. I mean, you can do the same with the CDs and so on. So, where are we? CD. I mean, it's great to take your own pictures, but if they're too low quality, it's defeats the purpose kind of. Here's a really bright one. Let's see if you want the front. That's pretty small. Anyway, you've got a range of stuff. So even this one is going to be, and look, they already took the background out. So okay, so here's the CD, and I'm going to transform it. I'm just trying to illustrate some of the, I mean, this should have been taken care of back in week 2, but, it wasn't, so that's fine. Let's see. But I'm just trying to show you. So, I'm not just telling you about this stuff. It's actually really a real thing. So you notice the difference now when you really zoom in. You don't see a whole bunch of grain. Everything's a lot clearer. So, so there's quite a few reasons why to really take good care and get good images. Let me turn this stuff off. Okay, so just one last thing, and then I'm not gonna probably boring you quite a bit. And the same is true for all these images. They're all pretty low res. So the other thing is with your text, I would suggest putting each word on its own layer, and then you can really move stuff around, and you can really fit it into the negative space. You don't even have to use the same font. This is a couple different fonts. Notice the different styles, and again, you can really fit it in here. I would also suggest going to DaFont and where's my thing here?